Last spring, I booked a last-minute Airbnb while driving through New Jersey for work. It wasn't the ideal situation. I was exhausted and just needed a place to crash for the night. Most hotels were either booked or ridiculously expensive, so I found this small rental that seemed decent enough. The photos showed a tidy bedroom, a clean bathroom, and a small kitchenette. It was nothing fancy, but for $60 a night, I wasn't expecting much. When I pulled up to the house, it was already dark. The neighborhood was quiet, too quiet, actually. The house was small and older looking, with peeling paint and a faintly flickering porch light. I hesitated for a second before grabbing my bag and heading inside. The host had sent me the code for the lockbox, and after a bit of fumbling, I got the door open. The interior was underwhelming, but not outright bad. The floors creaked with every step, and there was a faint musty smell, but the place seemed clean enough. The bedroom was small, with a single bed pushed against the wall, a nightstand with a digital clock, and a large painting hanging above the bed, a picture of a clown. I paused when I saw it. The clown wasn't the friendly, colorful kind you see at kids' birthday parties. It was more old-fashioned, with exaggerated features, dark, sunken eyes, and a smirk that looked more sinister than cheerful. It gave me an uneasy feeling, but I told myself it was just a painting, nothing more. I tossed my bag onto the bed and decided to check the place out. The bathroom was small but clean, with a tiny shower stall. The kitchenette had an old microwave and a mini fridge that hummed loudly, but it seemed functional. The whole house felt outdated and a little off, but I convinced myself it was fine for one night. As I was getting ready for bed, I pulled back the covers to check the mattress. It's a habit of mine when staying in unfamiliar places. When I lifted the mattress, I noticed something strange. There were dark stains on the underside, faint but noticeable. They were scattered and irregular, almost like someone had tried to scrub them out but didn't quite succeed. My stomach turned as I stared at them. Blood? Coffee? I didn't want to know. I quickly dropped the mattress back in place and tried to shake the unease creeping in. I climbed into bed and turned off the lights, but I couldn't stop staring at the clown painting. The way it was positioned, directly above the bed, made it feel like it was watching me. I tried to ignore it and closed my eyes, but every time I opened them, I swore the eyes in the painting were staring directly into mine. At one point, I thought I saw the eyes shift. Just slightly, but enough to make my heart race. I sat up and stared at the painting, trying to convince myself it was just my imagination. The longer I looked, the more certain I became that the eyes weren't painted. They were real. My breath caught in my throat, and I quickly turned on the bedside lamp. The room lit up, but the painting looked normal again. The clown's eyes were dull and lifeless, just paint on canvas. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. I decided to get up and inspect the painting. When I got closer, I realized it was bolted to the wall. Not hung, but bolted. That struck me as odd. Who bolts a painting to the wall? I tried to move it, but it wouldn't budge. That's when I noticed the nightstand clock. It was one of those small digital ones with red LED numbers. I hadn't paid much attention to it before, but now it seemed out of place. The clock was facing the bed, and as I leaned in closer, I noticed something strange. There was a tiny, almost imperceptible black dot on the face of the clock, right above the digital display. A camera. My stomach dropped. I picked up the clock and turned it over in my hands, and sure enough, there was a small lens embedded in the top. Someone had rigged it with a hidden camera. My mind started racing. Was this some kind of sick voyeur setup? Was someone watching me right now? I felt exposed and violated. I immediately grabbed my bag and started packing up. I kept glancing over my shoulder, expecting to see someone standing in the doorway, but the house was eerily still. As I headed for the door, I noticed something else. The clown painting. It was tilted slightly to the side. I was certain it had been straight before. My chest tightened and I froze, staring at it. Had someone moved it while I was packing? Or had I bumped it somehow without realizing it? I didn't wait to find out. I yanked open the front door and bolted to my car, slamming the door shut behind me and locking it. My hands were shaking as I started the engine and sped off into the night. I didn't care where I went. I just needed to get as far away from that house as possible. When I finally stopped at a gas station a few miles away, I sat in my car, trying to calm down. My mind was racing with questions. Who set up that camera? Was it the host? Had other guests been filmed without their knowledge? And what was the deal with that clown painting? I reported the Airbnb to the platform the next day and explained everything, including the hidden camera. They told me they'd investigate and remove the listing, but I never heard anything else about it. To this day, I have no idea if the host was ever caught or if anyone else stayed there after me. All I know is that I'll never book an Airbnb without thoroughly checking the reviews and pictures again. And if I ever see a clown painting in a rental, I'm walking out immediately.